when Thomas Jefferson wrote the phrase, "All men are created equal," did that at the time include black men and black lives?
Yes, it did.
Well, actually, you guys can fact check this on the Snopes if you're a technological person, but unfortunately, it did not apply to black people. It sucks. Just like Native people are also referred to as merciless savages. I wish we could go back and change that up, so it's not there, but it's there,
But we can make it mean that now.
But we can make it mean that now by being respectful like this, like what we're doing right now. Politically, we're not going to agree, and that's okay.
But it sounds like you do agree on so many levels.
That's right.
Government.
That's right. And that's what I'm trying to.
Smaller.
That's
you want
right.
the government
Absolutely.
to dictate
And that's what we need
All right, now
to.
we can.
That's what.
Republicans.
Hold on, now we can't.
Republicans
chaos here.
want
We're breaking
less
the format
government.
here.
Don't break the format.
Yeah. Maya, please let's not break the format any further. Guys.
Let her reclaim
Okay,
her time.
I think that if most people come together, even Martin Luther King said a majority of the chaos was because of misunderstandings. I think that there's more people here that are of common income and low income that have more in common and understanding than others.
You still have 30 seconds, 45 seconds.
Right?
You keep going.
Wow.
Now she's like, I don't know what to say now.
So, and this is an example of that. None of the extremists are coming up here and saying kill the pigs right now, or saying fuck Indians, you guys lost the war, which has been yelled at me by Trump supporters at various events. And as you can see, I'm a very peaceful person. I am not going to yell back or cuss or... I'm very I don't like the cussing. I really don't.
Time. Okay, you want to say the question?
So, to rephrase the question, when Thomas Jefferson in 1776 wrote the phrase, "All men are created equal" in the Declaration of Independence, did that apply to black men and black lives?
2 minutes. Starts now.
Well, and he's posing this question because we had slavery still at that time, and what we have in our history is imperfect people, just like each and every one of us. And we've had an imperfect, glorious system that people still fight to get to, swimming across from Cuba, trying to get to the United States so they can be free, to be rid of a communist socialist state. Because that is what everyone is fleeing from. They want to have our United States Constitution. Because those things now no longer are withstanding that we have freedom for all people in all ways. And what we're talking about here is just simple injustices. Injustices that people that are in positions of authority are doing. They are abusing their positions of authority. And it creates havoc within our lives. And it happens in many different ways, because there still are actually more whites killed by police every year than blacks. I know that you look at it statistically per capita, but I think that we have to stop using statistics to fight for our sides when that's only doing things to divide us. Those statistics as a whole shows that we have a problem with police and being aggressive. And it's not everywhere, again, because of, like we said, right, that it's to localize, it's to local areas, it's the individuals that are causing those problems. There might be one or two of those bad apples at police precincts all over the nation, but those precincts then get labeled because of those bad apples. Just like my group has been labeled as white supremacists and all these things because maybe one bad person was there, but then they say that every one of us is that, and that's unjust. That's what we all need to stop being sheep and following whatever the powers that be, because we might not ever know exactly who the powers that be are even.
Okay. Did you want a 30-second rebuttal?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay. 30 seconds rebuttal.
I might
Ryan. Now, go.
I might not take 30 seconds. And what you had said, you don't represent all the chaos of your group. Not every Black Lives Matter person does either, and so I think you just need to judge each situation for each situation, Us all here right now needs to stop allowing people to be counterproductive, like do what we can to create disagreements like this. This is healthy, this is not toxic, this is a healthy way of being. We're not going to agree and that's okay.
Did you want a 30-second response to her, or are you good? Good? Good.
We got way off the topic on the
Hey,
question.
after this question, we're gonna go back on the okay.
What can we do in the future to make sure that people are safer from the police department?
2 minutes, starting with Adam. Right now.
So, what I've been saying is getting involved locally. We as community members are not totally active within our communities, going to regular meetings, going to all of the different bureaucratic board meetings that they have throughout each month. Those are the workshop meetings that people need to attend. Those are meetings that involve the police as well. The only way that we prevent the corruption is by having involvement, by having eyes and ears, watching and not afraid. We have to have a system developed by us grassroots individuals that is going to support people that stand up in their community to fight against the things that are being done wrong. Because I personally have been one of those individuals and that has been abused by the media locally, that has been abused by politicians that have positions of authority within our county system and with other townships in the city. And those people all worked to silence the voice that was going to shine a light on all of their corruption. Because once someone breaks through that system and light is shown, it can never be unshown. And so we need people to fight for the people and with the people and support them. No longer say, well, that's from the other side. I'm going to say that they're a liar and they're just doing it for some other means when they point out corruption. Because people from both sides of our aisle are doing it, but we're not supporting them properly. We do it as a partisan thing instead. And that's garbage. That's why they're getting away with it.
10 seconds.
I'm good.
Amen.
Okay. So you have a two minutes to answer the question, starting now.
Both sides, from my understanding, do agree with that. There's so, like I had said earlier down there in the stairs, there's divisions being implemented intentionally. And we need to look over that. You know, if you guys don't want to agree with me about systemic racism or about racism existing, that's okay, but at least you heard what I had to say and you took it into consideration. But we can't allow that to dictate how we treat each other on a daily basis. You know, if somebody's for abortion and one's against, you know, let them have those views, but how we treat each other as community members, we need to be more awake, aware, and alive, and be a community versus focusing on the divisions and hate. Because I do believe classism is a big deal. I do believe people in positions of power get way too ego tripped and begin to just want to create all these divisions, and they're just like, look at all these people just laughing and fighting. And I don't want to be one of those people, so I refuse to be that. And I don't want you guys to be those people either. We need to show it that we're not going to be the people that are in someone's face saying, asshole, or, you know, don't hang that flag. Just learn from each other, you know, just learn from each other. Be like, okay, I don't agree with that.
Mutual respect.
Mutual respect doesn't mean you have to change your views. It doesn't mean you have to change your vote either. It's just a mutual respect and understanding.
Sorry.
Do
Amen.
you want a 30-second response to that? Okay, so we're going to move on to the next question. Come on up here and ask your question. We will start with you this time. No, you don't have to. Well, we want the crowd to hear it. Yes,
I'm
you
pretty
do.
loud. I can get
Okay,
loud.
be loud if you're not.
Okay, both sides agree. Black Lives Matter as a statement. When we're speaking about the organization, because I followed it at first, I did. Do you believe that the movement was hijacked? And if so, yes or no, and why?
1 minute. Starting now.
I believe both positions have been hijacked. I absolutely believe that they have looked upon poor people that are sick of being treated like shit, not being compensated for their hard work, not being treated with respect, and there have been manipulators in both groups. I absolutely believe both sides have been hijacked. I think that the white supremacy is hijacked through the Trump movement, and I believe that those that are racist against white people have hijacked as well. Racism has no play in this country. It's got to stop, no matter what. So both play. Any group that's for social justice or change, I think, is easily hijacked, unfortunately. That's why I don't say I'm a part of an organization. I'm a part of the movements.
10
The movements
seconds.
of respecting and bringing awareness to these issues, because it's a big problem. You know, it really is, the police brutality.
Okay.
Very well.
All right, Adam, you get 1 minute starting right now.
Okay, so I don't believe that it was actually hijacked. I believe that the Black Lives Matter movement has been doing the exact same thing that people in power on the left have been doing for many decades. Long before Black Lives Matter was a thing, they have been doing the diversity, inclusion, and equity agenda across America. There is organizations that have been funding this movement long before Black Lives Matter came about. Now they have a system established where any atrocity that happens to a minority person, we now have the grounds in our society, because of the movement that is Black Lives Matter, to riot in the streets, burn things down, and be
10
justified looting on behalf of someone that some people have never met thousands of miles away. This has been a plan for the chaos.
You want
you're
a
right.
30-second rebuttal to that? 30-second rebuttal starting now.
Again, it is common knowledge that white supremacy members, people that are white supremacists, do support the Republican Party more than Democratic.
No, it's
Watch
untrue.
Hillary's America.
Okay, guys, listen. But not everybody's a white supremacist, is my point. That is a Republican. They can be Democrats too. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is,
5
there's
seconds.
been funding from both sides. There was funding from both sides, from manipulative, controlling people to hijack, and that's why I call it hijack, because it's a manipulation to create divisions and fight rather than let us understand each other's differences and learn.
Time. Do you want to respond to that for 30 seconds? Yes? Okay. So we're doing 30-second response.
Hijack.
Now, 30-second response now.
So,
Never see KKK.
white supremacy. Yeah. So again, yeah.
Both sides. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, keep
So the whole hijacking, I mean, I don't know if you understand that again, it's the evil power, the power that corrupts, that hijacks movements. I do believe, though, that whole movement started out of that corrupt power, okay? That's what I've seen, that's what I understand. Our movements, every one of our patriot movements, every one of our organizations, we've been looking at who is here to corrupt us, who is here that is trying to take the power, because this power of the world, this political power is taken by people, okay? It's not transferred to people. People only take it. That's the way it works, unfortunately, and that's why we, the people, need to take that power back.
time.
Damn right.
Next question. Who's got the next question? Come on up. It's going to be starting. Who did we start with last time? You started last time.
I'm not.
So this time it'll start with Adam.
Hey, we're trying to get some form ahead right now.
You ended off on what I wanted to ask, and that is, how can we all go home to our own communities with different perspectives and bring people together to restrict the government again and so they stop restricting us?
This is going to be a long one, so we're going to give each debater 2 minutes on that one. We're going to start with Adam. So we are going to start with Adam. Yes, he asked, to be clear about what he just asked, it's what can each individual do to stop the government from oppressing us? When we go back to our communities, what can individuals do to stop the government from oppressing us? Correct? Okay. So what can we as individuals do to stop the government from oppressing us in our local communities? 2 minutes for each debater, starting with Adam.
Right now.
Well, as I've already said repeatedly, I'm going to say the same thing again, is that you need to attend your local community meetings. Because as soon as I got involved in my local community, I immediately saw things that were being done incorrectly. once you get involved and you see those things being done incorrectly, the people that are there just to have power over you are going to expose themselves, okay? They are then going to not want to change those things that they've been doing incorrectly for sometimes decades, okay? Many of these communities, these small communities, mine, I had people that have been in power there for over 30 years. So for 3 decades, they were running meetings incorrectly, which is a violation of our rights. We should have the ability to have that process done in a correct manner so we can go to the notes or the minutes of those meetings and have a true indication of what happened. We should have an open, transparent meeting in our process, and they were doing none of those things. We should have a time where we can stand up and speak our voice at every public meeting, guys. Every public meeting, we are allowed. But my community didn't do that. And I'm willing to bet that every single one of you, if you have never been to your meetings, you learn some of the process. Understand what Robert's Rules of Order is. Okay? Understand, get the Cliff Notes version and memorize it. And go to some of your local meetings and see if they're just following the basic rules of our civil function. And I'll bet anybody here, I'll put money down on the table right now that you will find things being done wrong. It's that simple, you guys.
Okay.
So to rephrase the question one more time, what can we as individuals do in our private communities to stop the oppression of the American people?
2 minutes starts right now.
It was oppression of the American people from government.
Correct.
Yes, I have to second that. We all, as taxpayers, have to attend these things. If you can't make it, at least talk to somebody who was there, especially now with like the video chats, a lot of stuff. I had to attend a city council meeting doing a Zoom, you know. The whole Zoom thing is a crazy adjustment, but it also makes it more open so that we can, on both parties, there's corruption. I, for years, called it politricks because it's tricks amongst political parties, and it's ruled by corporations. Corporations get loved and taken care of more than the people, and that's wrong. That's a huge problem. You know, we need to support local, the farmers markets, the farmers, the artists, the teachers. The teachers are a big deal in our kids' lives. We really need to take care of them. The medical workers. I was a medical assistant. My next plan is social work. And so, you know, I'm not finished done going to school. Education, continue to open your mind. Listen to everybody on both ends. You might learn something that you agree on that you can push. And there's a lot of times I've worked with Republicans because we agreed on something and we helped get something changed because we agreed on something. We didn't look on the party. We didn't look at the party. We both agree on this, and it's not a partisan thing. We need to fix this. And so we need to stop the divisions and attend and be educated with facts.
Facts,
Okay, who's got the next question?